Let's take a look at the astrology of April 20th through the 22nd of 2024. So let's take a look at April 20th. We have a lot of things going on this particular day. The first thing is we have a Mars sextile Jupiter transit. This is good for getting things accomplished, getting things done, checking things off your bucket list. This also brings optimism with it, and a faith of you feeling, confident in yourself to go after what you want. This is great for risk taking. You may have a lot of strong instincts at this particular time. You may be feeling very assertive to assert yourself in your life and go after what you want to and what you need to. This is also a more social and extroverted energy. So you're feeling more like you want to put yourself out in the world, like you want to go out into the world and do the things that you need and want to do. So this is extroverted. And then we have Mars sextile Uranus, which is very similar, but this is more about um, wanting the fun and exciting elements out of life. Because Uranus is all about the exciting, it's all about the electric, it's all about the new things in your life. So this is good for making any kind of changes, be it relationship changes, physical changes, maybe you're changing something in your house, maybe you're changing the book that you're reading, maybe you want to try a different book. Whatever the changes, maybe you're changing a health plan, or you're shifting to another diet. Whatever the changes are, this is good for making the necessary changes that you know that you need to make in your life. This also brings inspiration to get things off the ground, um, and initiative. This is great for initiating things, starting things, going and doing things, and pushing for things to happen. Start that new thing, start that new project. This is great at this time. This is also good for meeting people from different cultural backgrounds, understanding where they're coming from, understanding their culture, um, and basically opening up to new ways of living in people and their new experiences. And this is also a transit that's worth risk taking as well. The other thing that this invites all of us to do is freshen up our life. Where are things stale? Where do we need to let the fresh air in and make the necessary changes that we need to make in our life? Now, we also have Uranus trining Lilith on April 20th. So this is about being who you are, stepping into your authenticity. Lilith is a very dark moon force of a feminine planet. It represents the wild feminine energy that's untamed, that's real, that's raw. So this can be about embracing the unique side of yourself. This is also a time for rebelling and starting an authenticity revolution in your life. But this is really all about having the courage to be electric, and to be authentically who you are with no apologies. So that's the invitation for this aspect. Now, the moon is also going to form an opposition to Mars. So the moon's in Libra, Mars is in Aries. So you may be feeling irritated because this is a difficult aspect. You may be feeling irritated. Your emotions may be very impulsive. This is a time where you might be feeling emotionally volatile as well. Relationships could suffer from your aggression and impulsivity, so make sure that you're considering the needs and perspectives and the feelings of other people in your relationships. They are not just, pushing your ram heads against that person or butting heads with that person, and not really considering where they're coming from. Um, so, um, you know, being aggressive and impulsive when it comes to in your relationships, whatever that might mean for you, is not a good idea during this time. This also might be good for fighting for justice. fighting for a just cause. If there's someone that you love that's going through a hard time, fighting for them. If someone's getting mistreated in your family or your life, this is a time to fight for them, fighting for what's right, and considering the needs of others. That's how you can really use this opposition. It's counter to what, Mars is all about. Because Mars is all about the self. You, what do you want to initiate? What do you want to do in your life? What are the outcomes you want to reach in your life? This is about considering other people's needs. Now, the big enchilada of April 20th is that we have Jupiter conjunct Uranus. This can bring about surprises and shocks. This could also bring about a strong sense for freedom. You want to be free, you want to be liberated. And so it's also a good time to protest for what's right in your life. Again, going back to that justice idea with the other transit. Sudden windfalls can occur during this time. And you may have good fortune. You may have the lottery aspect wherever this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction falls in your chart. Wherever, I believe it's 21 degrees of Taurus or something around that. What is the Taurus life area in your chart? Because that could get a major upheaval, a sudden revolutionary thing happening in your life. And so the other invitation is to be open-minded at this time, to really use your open-mindedness for the highest good. And open-mindedness will give you good fortune and bring positive results at this time. On the 21st of April, we have the moon in a trine with Pluto. So you may feel things on a very deep psychic level. Your sensitivity for things is also turned on. Regeneration in relationships. Where do you need new things to happen in your relationships? Where does there have to be a transformation? In what area do you have to evolve and improve your relationships for the better? That's something to consider at this time. In what way do you need to change your relationships? And what way do you need to kill your relationships and give a rebirth to your relationships? And so you may have your relationships with others can be intense, and you may have experiences in your relationships that transform or evolve you, or the person involved is evolving you and transforming you on a deep, profound level. So consider that and be open and receptive to that. And so it can also be about focusing on the taboo aspects of life in various ways. That can be another thing with this. Investigating other people's feelings, really understanding what are they truly going through? What are people in your life and your world are truly feeling, truly experiencing? What are they suffering from? What do they need to learn from? Um, so those things are worth considering as well. Now, we do have the sun squaring Pluto on April 21st, so this can be good for getting through challenges, facing adversity, and achieving your goals, going after what you want and having a fixed, stubborn, willful focus on that. You may feel very assertive and controlling. The whole idea here is to let go of control, let go of the need to control your environment. There's a strong need here for power and influence. You may have experiences that bring up deep psychological fears. Maybe you have this experience and it brings up fears from the past. Maybe in my case, I have a fear of going underwater. Then maybe if I enter a pool situation, I would have that fear. Or going into deeper water, that would bring up that fear. So now's the time to really get deep within yourself and integrate and truly feel those fears and choose to take the risk anyway. Choose to really reflect on your psychological fears and feelings. Um, so you may also be, you may in your relationships be responsible for manipulation and abuse also that can come up. Those kind of things can come up. This is good for getting rid of any bad habits in your life or relationships that don't serve you in your life. And so that's what that's about. Then on April 22nd, we have the moon forming an opposition to Mercury. So this can make it difficult to understand and share your feelings, to understand what you're feeling, and it can make it difficult to communicate your feelings. You may be analytical, like overly analytical, overly logical, overly left-brained, and then overly emotional the next moment. So mood swings can certainly happen with this. Two invitations for this. To keep busy and be productive, occupy your mind. Take your mind off of the confusing emotions and whatever you might be going through and, do something actively. Do something, put your nose to the grindstone, focus on something that you need to get done or that you want to get done. Um, and also spend time for reflection, reflect on your feelings, get clarity about, what you're feeling so that you can express that and communicate that maybe once this aspect, fades away. So spending time in reflection can also be very helpful during this time. And then we have the moon opposite Venus as the final transit for April 22nd. So this can bring up feelings of like you really want to be in relationships. You really want to be in partnerships. But there may be tensions in your relationship. There may be a fight in your relationship. One person wants one thing, you want another thing. You're both fighting for the same things. There may be conflicts with partners in relationships. Maybe your feelings, needs, and expectations are different than the other person, so it's important to consider their feelings, needs, and expectations for the relationship. What do they need on an emotional level to feel safe and nurtured in that relationship and fulfilled, like the relationship is meaningful and it gives you a sense of joy and purpose in your life. Um, and the final question to ask with this is, are your relationships fulfilling and based on mutual love, or are they not? So consider that. Spend some time and meditate on that question and choose to be in relationships that are, choose to build more fulfilling and mutual love if that's not in place in your relationships. All right, so I want to skip right to the Oracle card reading. So what do we need to know at this time? That's the question I asked. What do we need to know during these few days? And the first card I received from The Wisdom of Avalon by Colette Baron Reid. This is her very, very first deck that she did based off of the book, The Myths of Avalon. The first card I got is Joy, as you can see right here. Joy. See that? And this represents a time for celebration, a time for looking at all of the abundance in your life, a time for looking at the positives, looking at, this is a time where you want to look at what are the things that you feel good about in your life. Like you genuinely feel good about them. This is a time to count your blessings and celebrate all the blessings that you have in your life, no matter how impaired or tainted they are. Like, the beautiful weather, having food, having, comfortable clothes to wear. Those simple pleasures can really make a lot of difference. Feeling grateful for the books and the knowledge that they carry that you have. Feeling grateful for if you have oracle cards, that you have means of connecting to spirit, and the divine in that way. And receiving guidance, because that's what the oracle cards are, basically about, is they're giving you guidance for more fulfilling and meaningful life, and they're giving you insights. Um, And so really the abundant universe will provide during this time. Um, so things are going well at this time with when it comes to work, relationships, or any other life area. You notice that things are going well. This is a time where you might be feeling more joyful. And this is a time also where you want to share that joy. Have that conversation where you're expressing how, abundant you feel. Enjoy what you have in your life with another person. Share that meal. Um, Read that same book together. Go outside and take a walk together. Go to that museum together. Go to that fun fair together. Like, do things together with others that represent you sharing joy. Um, and it's a time to be grateful for things in your life. And then the second card, which I think is so fitting for this transit of Jupiter conjunct Uranus and the Mars and Jupiter sextiles to Uranus is disruption, as you can see here. And so things are getting shaken up at this time, shaken up and stirred. Um, and this is where the important thing is to make sound decisions, to make wise, good decisions at this time, to make smart decisions, smart choices. Um, and then your plans and ideas that you have may be falling apart at this time. Um, Things are getting disrupted, and um, your visions and the things that you mapped out for yourself in your layout are getting disrupted and changed and flipped around the other way in the other direction. But you have to remember that the disruptive energy at this time also brings opportunities with it and also brings lessons to it. Lessons of you needing to change things that you maybe thought were stale. Maybe you need to re-innovate something that doesn't work for you anymore. Maybe you need to let go of what doesn't serve you anymore. So, consider the lessons and look to the positive side and the meaningful side of the disruption that is going on in your life. And maybe structures that you've created are suddenly falling apart, are suddenly, falling to pieces and getting pushed down and smushed down and ruined. So it's now time to build those solid structures, build that strong relationship, build that project that doesn't fall to pieces. Um, Fix the bed so that it doesn't fall apart the next time you get in it. Really focusing on building those solid structures in your life that can be very important during this time. Spirit is the only thing that's stable. Life is about change. Things break, things fall apart, things evolve in your life. So it's important to know that spirit in the invisible world is stable. So turn to spirit for wisdom and guidance regarding the disruptions in your life. All right, everybody, that is your Astro and Oracle forecast for April 20th and April 22nd. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye now.